Well, hi and welcome. It's a pleasure for myself to interview the amazing Sharon Lechter. How are you, Sharon?
I am fantastic, Brad. Always wonderful to see and be with you.
Oh, look, over what's it now, 1990 something when we first met, we've been doing this thing called books and teaching forever and a day, and you are the biggest and best selling forever, and you've got a new one.
I do. Number 26, believe it or not. But
26.
it's kind of a culmination of everything else I've done, kind of pulling it all in as a guidebook for creating wealth, right?
When we look at all of the wealth stuff you've done, and for years for us at Action Coach has been teaching business owners how to create wealth through their business. And I guess that's a lot of what Exit Rich focuses in on.
It does. And it's exactly what you guys, you provide to your clients. And that is understanding, a lot of business owners, they don't know what they don't know. And they get all excited about their product or their service, but they don't understand that they need to put in the foundation. I talk about, you build a house, you got to go down first. You got to put in the plumbing, you got to put in the electrical in order to have a home. Same thing with your business, because what happens, and I'm speaking to the choir here, Brad, but they build a job for themselves. They get so tied into it, they can't give up control of it. And that's why they need to have those outside advisors and coaches to help them see what they don't see for themselves.
Yeah. When you sit back and you look at most people going into business for themselves, the mistake is made on entry, not on exit. Tell me more about that, because you focused a bunch on that in the book.
Yes, it's all about start with the end in mind, right? And it's like, do you really want to build a business that you have to drive until the day you die? Or do you want to build a business that will become so successful that you get your time back? Pretty easy answer. And so if you truly want to build a business that's successful, where you will get your time back and wealth along with it, then you start now.
Yeah.
And you find the resources, the tools, and the advisors that are going to help you build it so that it's not just successful, but sustainable and scalable.
And that's an interesting one, because to exit properly, you have to build a scalable or relatively scalable business, because no one wants to buy a minute business type thing. They don't want to buy themselves a job in most cases, but that's a lot of what people sell. One of the things about the book is it takes you through that long-term, I would say, I guess, process or system, as you've outlined it in the book. Give people a bit more of an understanding as how that works, because I think that's really important too.
Well, we try to distill it down. I mean, Steve Forbes, my friend, says it's a gold mine for entrepreneurs, because for those of you that have read Rich Dad, I take a complex subject and try and make it explainable and easy to understand. And that's, we go kind of distill building a business into 6 P's, right? Like 6 cylinders of a car. And the first one is the people, right? How many times do people try to do everything on their own? Business owners, have the right people on your team, have people who are strong where you are weak, have a mentor, a coach that can help you accelerate your growth instead of stunt your own growth and get yourself out of your own way. And the second one is your product. Now, many times you have a product that could potentially be 4 products or 10. If you have the right advisors that can help you see that and have that vision. Typically, when I'm mentoring somebody, I see a greater future for them than they see for themselves.
Yeah.
And the third P is your processes. And that's where Action Coach excels, is helping understand creating those duplicatable processes. And it's so much easier to manage a system than it is to manage personalities. And so you create those systems and you have the ability to scale. Yeah. And too many people kind of skip over that. They do things on sticky notes, right? And somebody leaves and all of a sudden, oh, well, Carol used to do that. I don't know. We'll have to figure out. Let's go look through her desk and see if we can find something. And it happens more often than not. And then the 4th P is proprietary. And that is that intellectual property, that intangible value in your business. You've heard the term goodwill. Well, many times when you sell a business, the book value is like maybe 5 million, but the intangible value brings you to 50 million because of intangible assets, including intellectual property. And that's where people miss the boat. They don't identify it, protect it, and leverage it. That's kind of my superpower. I help people do that. And that's something that, understanding the valuation of your business it starts with the very beginning.
Mm.
The agreements, the legal structure, making sure things are nailed down, making sure you have agreements with your vendors, your suppliers, make sure you own what you pay for. A lot of people pay somebody to do a website for them, but they don't put in work for hire terms, so that they don't even actually own it. So structuring your business from the beginning makes it so much easier than trying to go back and clean it up later.
Yeah, I think I've seen that too many times. You come in to coach someone and, well, they didn't plan for selling the business. So it takes you a year or 2 years just to restructure, reset, redo everything to get it to a point where it is now a saleable item. And I think that's why I like what you're saying here, because, you know, we agree on so much of how this is what your end result. You don't have to sell it, but you have to be able to sell it type thing.
And what I think people, you know, I just want to point out, Brad, that, you know, you could have said, well, we do this, but you saw value in this. And I want you to know, I see value in having a coach, because number one, people, having that mentor, that coach to help you get to where you need to go, but just opening your eyes to what's possible. And also opening your eyes to those pain points that maybe you haven't admitted to yourself yet. You know, maybe becoming a business owner came from your control freakness. You want to control your own life, your own time. Well, sometimes that backfires. As a business owner, you want to control everything that's happening. You got to learn how to delegate. You got to learn how to have the right people on your team, right?
You know, there is so much of that. So before the high C's get too struggling, what's fifth and sixth of the P's that we need to go through today? Because I wouldn't want to leave the high C's hanging out there.
The fifth one is your patrons. Now, in this world we live in today, we get all excited about having all these followers on Instagram and on LinkedIn and Facebook and Clubhouse and now TikTok, and we get so excited. But you don't own those names. They're a great lead generator, but you need to create the system to bring them home, to invite them home into your database. Many companies sell simply for the database. And so the patrons, and understanding when you have your database and you have your patrons, you need to nurture them and create that lifetime relationship. And that's the lifeblood. Many companies do sell just for their customer base. And then the sixth one is profits. Everybody wants to make a profit, but too many people, too many business owners focus on their product and their profit. And if they don't have all the other P's working for them, they're not going to get as much profit. Not having enough profit is a symptom, not a cause. Yeah. It tells you that something else isn't working in your business.
So ultimately, I think the biggest value that I get out of the book, and I think that a lot of the people that I want to recommend this book to, is that just the real mindset of thinking about selling or exiting at day one. Like, you don't wait until you're ready to sell to start thinking about selling. It's going to take you 2 to 3 years by the time you reach that point. What are some of the things that you think around that mindset are the really important aspects?
Well, I think, you know, we get our identity wrapped around our business, and that a lot of time our ego gets in the way. And the step to take a step back and think about, what do you want your future to look like? Do you want your children to have a business to run? You don't have to exit. You don't have to exit by selling. You can exit by structuring it and having the right people in place so you can create generational wealth. But the mindset is, we live in today. We're not looking at tomorrow. Let's figure out what you want your future to be. Do you want to be able to spend the weekend on the lake and have to know that your business is being taken care of? Do you want to be able to go to Europe for a month and know that your business is growing while you're gone? And that mindset of, I have to do it myself, is hindering you. You're in your own way. You're restricting your ability to grow and have and really impact more people. We're all in business to help people. You know, successful businesses solve a problem or serve a need. Well, you want to be able to reach as many people as possible. And so you need to have the systems and the engines and the economic engine that gets out there to serve more people, which ends up bringing you more profit and therefore more freedom.
Yeah, most definitely. Now, one other important aspect I think that was a good learning or a good reminder of a lot of things is that the aspect of why big companies buy small companies, or why people buy companies. When you wrote that section of the book, Give me a bit more of the thinking behind that, because I don't think people really understand what they're selling when they sell a business.
Oh, there are different types of buyers. All right. There are those buyers that are looking for a bargain basement sale. There is those buyers who are looking for expanding their reach in geographic or industry. There are those buyers that are looking for strategic purchases. There are buyers that are looking to expand their database so that they can sell their stuff to your clients. There are people who want your technology products to sell to their clients. And so understanding who the right buyer should be is really the name of the game, so that you're not wasting time, that you're being strategic about how you're doing that. But that's the other value of this book, Brad, is that it's a great tool. If you are looking at buying a company, it's a great due diligence book to follow, because you can judge that company based on how they stack up against what we talk about in Exit Rich. So from an investor, from a mentor, from building a business up, it's all about using your mind to understand the elements that need to be in place to structure the greatest and highest value for your business. A lot of times business owners think their business is worth a lot more than it really is.
We've never ever seen that. No, I don't think it's worth a fortune. Look, I mean, that happens all the time, but unfortunately, because they didn't plan for it to be a saleable item, it's not a finished business. They're selling this pen, but all they've made is the lid, and it's like, okay, it's a great lid, but it's not a real thing that's a saleable item. I want that saleable aspect to it. So if I was to talk about some of the other aspects of the Sharon Lechter business, all of the financial and the assets are sexy and all of these other things, I get it that everyone should read Exit Rich, but what would be another book? Everyone's already read Rich Dad, Poor Dad of yours. So what's another one of yours that you think people should jump on as well as Exit Rich?
Well, thanks, Brad. I didn't know you were going to ask that question, but we're just talking about mindset. So I think a lot of times, particularly in the last year, a lot of people have been afraid of losing their jobs, or afraid of dying because of the pandemic. And so there's a line in Outwitting the Devil, which talks about, at some point, the devil is going to combine the fear of poverty and the fear of death. And I think we add in the fear of isolation. A lot of people have had their world shaken around them. And people, particularly us control freaks, when all of a sudden we weren't in control of the world around us, it shook a lot of foundation, a lot of mental illness. And so Outwitting the Devil has really incredibly impacted a lot of people in a positive way, for them to understand how to take control of your own mind, and really to protect yourself from all those negative influences. Because a lot of it is about who you're hanging out with. What are you listening? I mean, first thing is just pay attention to Brad's life. It's going to give you positive, lots of wonderful things. I love watching what he and his family do all the time. It gives me energy and excitement, makes me smile. But that's what are you putting in your brain? What are you listening to? Who are you hanging around? Are you with people that are pulling you back? Or are you with people that propel you forward? So from a standpoint of my other books, of course, I like them all, but Outwitting the Devil, from what's happening in the world right now, can really help people that are feeling disenfranchised, feeling down on themselves. Read Outwitting the Devil.
Brilliant. Listen, if you're watching this, go read it. Hang out with Sharon Lechter. Read her latest book, Exit Rich. Go back and read the other ones too, Outwitting the Devil, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, if you're the one person on the planet who hasn't read that one. Anyway, Sharon, thank you for your time today. Congrats on the new book. I enjoyed it a bunch, and I hope everyone watching here does today as well.
Well, Brad, I cherish your friendship. I'm so thrilled for you and your success. And I appreciate your validation, your testimonial for the book. And for everybody watching and listening, we're here to support you. Reach out, info@Sharon Lechter. I'm Sharon Lechter, Instagram, everywhere else. But thank you, Brad, so much. I appreciate you. And I really appreciate Action Coach. Thank you.